Gray, our guys have left.
From Kyiv in 3 days to a FAB strike on Belgorod region, 4 years of full-scale war. Russians are attacking themselves again. This time they hit a dam near the village of Popivka with an aerial bomb. Russian forces dropped a powerful FAB-3000 glide bomb on a dam in the village of Popovka in Russia's Belgorod region. Video of the attack and its aftermath was shared on Russian Telegram channels. The footage shows the bomb falling, followed by a large explosion and a strong shockwave spreading in all directions. Russian reports suggest that Ukrainian forces used the dam near Popovka to supply troops in the Sumy and Belgorod regions. Social media posts indicate that the strike led to flooding in the surrounding areas, damaging agricultural land. The attack comes as fighting in the region intensifies. The Ukrainian incursion into the neighboring Kursk region appears to be nearing its end, with Russian forces reportedly recapturing the border checkpoint near the city of Sudzha. Only a small strip of Russian territory, about 1 to 3 kilometers, 0.6 to 1.8 miles, wide, remains under Ukrainian control in that area. Meanwhile, in the Belgorod region, a new Ukrainian offensive, first reported 2 weeks ago, seems to be expanding slightly, with Ukrainian forces digging in and countering Russian attacks. Russian sources claim that approximately 4,000 Ukrainian troops have entered the Belgorod region, primarily moving on foot as infiltrators, while armored units conduct raid-style attacks. Russian propagandists are now trying to convince the whole world, though more likely themselves and their zombie empire, that they supposedly never intended to capture Kyiv. But sometimes, Russians expose themselves. In the video, yet another truth-teller admits that they were drawing straws to decide who would raise their rag on Bankova Street and at what time.
I was quoting from, memoirs, but it's someone's slightly edited, because there are much harsher details from a person who was in one of the military units that was supposed to take Bankova, and they were drawing straws there to decide on which building to raise flags. So specific dates and times when this was supposed to happen are known. In other words, the political leadership set this task.
A Pskov paratrooper from the 76th Airborne Division showed a cemetery of burnt bukankas.
Our beloved Niva. Condoms expletive. Gray, our guys have left. All right, to hell with it. He's deaf. Let's go further. Come on, we're off. Thank you, good luck.
A Russian Tu-22 M3 long-range bomber crashed in Irkutsk Oblast on April 2nd, killing the pilot and forcing 4 crew members to eject, the Russian Defense Ministry said, according to the state news agency TASS. The aircraft was reportedly conducting a scheduled flight when it went down in a deserted area. The search and rescue team that arrived on the scene is evacuating the crew members to the base airfield, the statement reads. Irkutsk Oblast Governor Igor Kobzev attributed the crash to a technical malfunction and said no local residents were injured. The Telegram channel MASH reported that the plane struck a power line, causing electricity outages in 2 nearby villages. The Tu-22M3, a supersonic bomber developed by the Soviet Union, remains a key component of Russia's Air Force and has been used in strikes against Ukraine. The aircraft played a role in Russia's heavy bombardment of Mariupol in 2022. Dropping unguided bombs on the besieged city. This is the latest in a string of Russian military aircraft crashes. On March 24th, a Su-25 attack aircraft went down during a training flight in Primorsky Krai in Russia's Far East, the Russian Defense Ministry reported. The White House has admitted that the Easter ceasefire in Ukraine, promised by U.S. President Donald Trump, will not take place. Instead, frustration over the negotiation process is growing within his administration, the Telegraph reports. According to the outlet, several White House officials have acknowledged that Trump will not be able to achieve a ceasefire in Ukraine by April 20th. Sources say the Trump administration is increasingly frustrated with the Kremlin's delaying tactics. The White House is preparing to pressure both Moscow and Kyiv to push them toward a peace deal. Failure to end the war would be a significant blow to Trump, who repeatedly claimed during his campaign that he could stop the fighting within 24 hours, the Telegraph adds. While U.S. officials have privately expressed dissatisfaction for weeks over Kyiv's position in negotiations, its reluctance to sign a minerals deal with Washington and advance peace talks, recent days have seen growing frustration with Moscow, according to sources. During a series of calls and meetings last weekend, White House and State Department officials admitted that Putin is actively resisting Washington's efforts to secure a long-term agreement. As a result, they discussed potential economic and diplomatic sanctions against Moscow. Russia may agree to a full ceasefire with Ukraine without additional conditions, but this requires pressure from the United States, stated the President of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, according to the press service of the presidential office. Ukraine has demonstrated, and everyone emphasizes this, its readiness for a full and unconditional ceasefire. We are not setting any conditions, and the Russians have no right to set any either, the head of state emphasized during a meeting with business representatives from the Dnipropetrovsk region. He pointed out that Ukraine opposes the lifting of sanctions on Russia in exchange for a ceasefire, and this position is supported by European Union countries. According to Zelensky, Russia is evading the ceasefire because it wants to achieve certain successes on the front lines. Evidence of this is the enemy's plans for an offensive in the Sumy, Kharkiv, and Zaporizhzhia directions. These plans, however, were not realized. I believe that increased pressure and dialogue between the Americans and them will inevitably lead to a ceasefire, the president concluded. World powers must quickly reach an agreement with Iran on its nuclear program. Otherwise, military confrontation could become almost inevitable, stated French Foreign Minister Jean-Noël Barrot, according to Reuters. The window of opportunity is narrow. We only have a few months until the expiration of this accord. In case of failure, a military confrontation would seem to be almost inevitable, Barrett said during a parliamentary hearing. Reuters notes that European countries aim to reach a diplomatic agreement to limit Iran's uranium enrichment by October 2025, when UN sanctions related to the 2015 agreement on Iran's nuclear program with world powers expire.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Rescues every day. We had a guy last week, it's 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.